It's day 2 cleansing, deep cleanse, and I am in my far infrared sauna. I'm sweating it out. I mean, I'm dumping sweat. And it's a good feeling to purge those impurities out of the body. Anyway, I'll give you a tour of my sauna here. This is what I always do when I deep cleanse. I actually do this about every day, just because it keeps me feeling really healthy. But obviously, when you add our cleansing nutritives and botanicals to the body, wow, talk about just giving it a booster shot. Everything just starts getting out, purging chemicals and stuff out the body. So anyway, I'll show you around. This is a little radio. I like to turn on some good music, and oftentimes I'll meditate while I'm in here. 38 minutes means I've been in here 22 minutes. I usually only stay in about 30 minutes. 146 degrees is the temperature. It's a lot different than the old saunas with the coal and all of that, whatever you call it. This one, the technology kind of heats you from the inside out. If you touch my skin, I'm really not that hot. So it's an interesting concept. I even use my phone in here. It's never bothered it. It doesn't heat up electronics beyond, safe temperatures. What else? I've got books. I read reading about disciplining children effectively, and reading about financial investments, and read about this is a spiritual book by one of our church leaders, Sherry Dew. What else have I got here? Millionaire by 30. I've got my newspaper in here. Sometimes I catch up on that. Got lots of H2O to hydrate while you do this process. Also, I always keep my office phone in here because sometimes I'll even do conference calls in here, and three-way calls and stuff like that. But anyway, I want to talk to you about the psychology of cleansing, because I think people make this a lot harder than it needs to be. I don't think it's a very hard process. Do I think it's an essential process? I think everybody should be doing some form of detoxification. I think it's essential in this day and age. We live in a toxic world. People ask me, what, you think I'm toxic? And I say, yeah, if you're living and breathing in this day and age, you're toxic. You can't avoid it. Nobody can avoid it. So with that in mind, you got to do something to periodically change your own oil, so to speak. I'm not going to go into all of that, but what I want to say is the psychology around deep cleansing. Think about this, guys. Think about how much of our lives revolves around food. Think about how much of our lives revolves around what we're going to eat, and when we're going to eat it, and who we're going to eat it with. Think about how our food is colored. Think about how our food is genetically modified. Think about how we salt it, we sugar it, we flavor it. We do all of these things. We have to have a menu of food. Man is the only, animal on the face of the earth that has to have a menu of food. All other animals, they just eat the same thing over and over again. And yet we have to have this big menu of food and variety. Think about how much time and energy we invest in food. Food. Doesn't it make you sick? In fact, Americans, especially Americans, we don't just eat 3 times a day or, 4, 5, 6 times a day. Most of us are eating all day, every single day. We're snacking all day. When do you give your body a break? When do you give your digestive system a break? Now, I have a cold thing going on right now, so, and I'm embarrassed to admit that, but, it happens to the best of us. But oftentimes what I will do is when I feel a sinus thing coming on, and again, talk to your doctor if you want to consider doing this. It's just my personal opinion, and I'm not a doctor. But if I get ill, sometimes I'll cleanse. And my logic behind that is, look what animals do. If you have a pet dog or a pet cat, what happens when they get sick? They stop eating. And oftentimes we freak out. Oh my gosh, my dog's not eating. I got to take it to the vet. And we don't realize that what is that animal doing? What is it doing instinctively? It's starving off the pathogens and the viruses. Because the more you feed those things, especially sugar, don't eat sugar, but the more you feed these pathogens and these viruses and these bugs, the more you feed them, the stronger they get. And so these animals, they know instinctively by starving for a period of time, or we'll call it fasting, they are able to basically inhibit the spreading or the growth of such pathogens. And in effect, they starve them off. And, in a few days, the animal's able to start eating again and everything's fine. And so it's an interesting concept, but I really believe in it. And it's interesting when you're sick, you really don't feel hungry. It's almost like your body's saying, don't eat. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. Always consult with your doctor before you do anything different in your diet or in your routine. But it works for me. And I also notice when I nutritionally cleanse the body, I notice my immune system boosts like crazy. And I've been doing this for 12 years. It's not like I just started doing it. I've seen literally thousands of results in the way of immune system, immune function, being improved. And that's not making health claims. That's just people saying, you know what, I don't seem to get sick as anyone. It's anecdotal, strictly anecdotal. But people notice they don't seem to get sick as much, and the sickness doesn't last as long, things like that. Anyway, I want you to think about the psychology around cleansing. Don't become a victim to the sad American diet. It's sad. It's sad how much we eat. It's sad what we eat. It's sad, what we do to our food supply. Watch the documentaries. Watch Food Inc. Watch Knives Over Forks or whatever it is. Watch Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. Food Matters. There's all this incredible information. It's at your fingertips. It's on YouTube. It's on Netflix. And education will empower you to change your body and change your life. Education is the key. You've got to get educated. You've got to become aware of all the information, and next thing you know, you'll say, I'm not going to succumb to these cravings. I'm not going to succumb to these toxic addictions. I can do this. This is easy. In fact, when I cleanse, I tell you, I feel liberated. I feel healthy. I feel like I'm able to gain control over all these addictions, food addictions and, different things. I feel like my mind is just liberated. I can focus on spiritual things. I can focus on intellectual things because I'm just not so controlled and held hostage by food. And the great thing is, once you get the mental state there, the physical state will follow. And you'll have a much better physique, and you'll have a much better life and longevity, and everything else follows. So a healthy body craves, savors, and is attracted to healthy foods. An unhealthy body is attracted to toxic garbage, to put it, in its most simple terms. Amazing what happens when you get the body in check. Nutritionally rebalance the body, and everything else follows. You start eating healthier foods, you crave, savor healthy foods, you taste toxic substances and toxic foods, and you don't like it. It doesn't taste right anymore. Because, God gave us these perfect bodies, and in their natural state, they don't want the junk. In their natural state, they don't need as much food all day, every day. Anyway, I'll just leave it at that. Get motivated, guys. It's your health. Nobody else is going to get control over your health. I'm sick of the whining. I'll just level with you like a football coach would or a soccer coach would with their team. Whining's not going to get you anywhere. My daughter's laughing at me. Whining is not going to get you anywhere, Lily. You've got to take control of your life and your health. Nobody else is going to do it for you. All right, we'll leave it at that. Thanks. Bye-bye.